Ooh, boy. Oh, man. It feels so good to be back home. I know I was only gone for one night, but I miss being here. Whew. Hello, good people. Mark Holmes here. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. Hope everybody's had a great hump day. Tomorrow is week 15. This season is rolling downhill really, really fast, and it's just crazy. It is crazy. You know, I'm old, okay? I'm old. There's like a Facebook group that has like old memories and stuff. See, I'm so old that we had a television that had to be about 60 inches long. It was a wood cabinet. The TV itself was only this big. It's a wood cabinet. My parents had a stereo. It was a low boy, and again, it was about 6 feet long. You opened up the top, and it had a turntable, and it not only was a 33 speed, it also had 45, and you had the little yellow pieces, the little inserts that you set in there for the 45s because they were smaller. But it also had a 68 player. So evidently there was a 68 before there was a 45 and a 33. And it was a big piece, big furniture piece. That's how old I am. And so from time to time, I see in this Facebook group, they'll prop up and they'll show you like the Pioneer stereo sets, you know. You had the whole rack. Oh my God. And you know, and you had the gauges that were literally just jumping, okay? And then they got LED ones, and then you just start seeing them pump. Oh my God. Yeah, back in the day. That was a different world. And later on, when the Cowboys, as I know Philadelphia, we'll talk about, you know, when the Cowboys were watching the Super Bowl or VHS tapes back in the 90s. You know, Jimmy Johnson was a great coach. He was a motivator. He was an evaluator of talent. He got guys fired up to play. And I remember him saying, if you're going to talk the talk, then walk the walk. If you're going to talk the talk, then walk the walk. That means if you're going to say some shit, you better back it up. Point blank. If you're going to talk the talk, then walk the walk. And Micah Parsons, I don't know if he intentionally talked the talk or if it was more of, you know, they asked him a question. And it was I think it was an honest answer about Jalen Hurts. And it's like, is it Jalen Hurts or is it the team? And it's not really, basically he's admitting that they're great, that he's doing a great job. And is it also because of the people around him? Jalen Hurts was asked about it, and he's like, I'm just going to focus in on Chicago. Jordan Mailata was asked about it, I believe. I think it was Jordan Mailata. And he was kind of like, he kind of threw a little shade back at Micah Parsons. He said, unless it's like Micah Chicago or something or other, you know, I don't give a blank to blank. And I think Lane Johnson was asked about it too. So now we know that the Eagles definitely got this. And see, just like back when we had that big TV, we used to have what was known as bulletin board material. A lot of you might not know what the bulletin board was. Bulletin board was basically a cork board that you could take stick pins or thumbtacks. That's it, thumbtacks. thumbtacks and put it in there because you get a piece of paper. And we also, because see, this is one of those things that y'all might not know what it is either. Newspapers, because we didn't have the 4-letter networks back in the day that were there, with Stephen A. Smiths and, Skip and Shannon's and stuff like that were talking about this stuff. It was real writers that were writing these things out. So you had to physically go to the street in the morning to get your newspaper. That's right. You go out in your pajamas and all that, bathrobe and things, grab the newspaper, or hope that you had a paper boy who actually threw it up on your porch so you could just walk out your door and it's right there. But you get that and you come in, you sit down and fold that sucker open and you drink your coffee. Okay? You drink your coffee and you'd read and you get to something and all of a sudden you spit out your coffee because I can't believe they said that shit. And they would take it and cut it out. And they say, this is bulletin board material. And that was the thing that motivated other teams. I know this is a stroll down memory lane for me. For some of you, this is ancient history. But basically, what just happened with Micah Parsons, which is being misconstrued, or maybe it's not. Maybe this is a message that Micah Parsons wanted to put out there. Because it's definitely, as much as the Eagles are saying, we're focused in on Chicago, they ain't focused in on Chicago. They in there talking about Micah Parsons. They're up there saying, man, the shit I'm going to do. And see, this reminds me. And I don't know, my man, Sammy Good from my high school. I was a senior, he was a junior. I was an offensive guard, he was a defensive lineman. And back in the day, something they don't do much now is actually hit. And we used to have bowl in the ring, you'd have Tennessee drills and stuff, and we'd have one-on-one drills, right? Where we would have a running back behind us, and me as the offensive lineman, we'd have 2 cones right here or 2 pads right here, and it was my job to push him out of space so the running back could go free. And of course, the defensive lineman's job, it was his job to stop me, get rid of me, and tackle the carrier, which he took him to the ground. I know, isn't that crazy? It's crazy, but that's what we used to do. And I remember the coaches, Sammy, man, and his nickname was Bubba. Bubba, man, kick that motherfucker, excuse my language, kick his mother ass, man. Go get him, Sammy, go get him. Sammy, I mean, he was all fired up, I say. And me, put my hand down there, just dry block him, blow him out the hole. Running back's untouched. Oh, man. And to really piss him off, you really want to piss somebody off? Block the hell out of him and then help him up. Sammy was like, man, F your head. Coach is all up in his face. Man, what the hell was that? You gonna let him do that to you? Get your ass back in there. He's all fired up. His whole thing of this rage. I'm gonna destroy you. And you know what happened on the next play? Blew him out the hole again. Because what happened was he had all that rage and all that fire and all that. And Sammy was probably stronger than I was. But because his rage was controlling him, because he wanted to get out for revenge, he lost his technique. I easily got up under his pass, drove him right out the hole. And right now, you got Eagles getting ready to play this weekend against the Bears, sitting there thinking about how they're going to get Micah Parsons. Oh, man, you ain't going to talk about my quarterback and things like that. Man, we're going to get him. And they're going to be so focused in on Micah Parsons. They're going to be so full of rage and everything else. And that's when the rest of the game's going to come through. You watch. You watch. In the same way that Sammy was so focused in with his rage and trying to get in there, boom. They're going to be so focused on Micah Parsons, they're going to forget about the other guys. Watch what I tell you. Now, I don't want to look past the Jacksonville Jaguars because we the Cowboys. We them boys. We them boys that play down to the level of our competition. We do. But I think the Cowboys will be a little more focused this week. And there's a chance, or it's sounding like, if you're listening to Jerry Jones, that T.Y. Hilton may be playing this weekend. I don't know what that means for James Washington, but this weekend, T.Y. Hilton's going to be playing. So it's going to be interesting, to say the least. Looking forward to this because T.Y. Hilton apparently came in great shape, didn't have to rehab or anything like that. He seems to be ready to go. He's excited about playing. You know, maybe he can become that deep threat that we need that helps to expand the field. Because when I look at it, and of course, I'm just, Joe the fan here, but I don't see a lot of separation with our receivers. As people keep going through and saying, oh, well, Dak Prescott last year was 37 TDs and 10 interceptions. He was that guy. Well, he had Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and a healthy Michael Gallup the whole season. So I kind of look at that and say, it's not apples to oranges this year when you only had CD there for a while and you got Michael Gallup back, after you came back from having thumb surgery, right? And, he's still getting his legs. He's not the deep threat that he once was. And you don't have Amari Cooper there. And Dalton Schultz has been kind of injured. Oh, and you had a broken thumb. So I'm kind of looking and saying, there's a lot of things that are going on in here. But it's kind of amazing that in the time that you've been back and playing like ass, that your rating is higher than Josh Allen, that you've got more TDs than Josh Allen, that you got more victories than Josh Allen. But somehow Josh Allen is great, and he's got Stephon Diggs among other guys, and Dak Prescott is trash. Huh. Well, meh. I don't know. I'm sure I will have some of the haters and some of the trolls that'll be coming in here and telling me, how dare you compare Dak Prescott to Josh Allen? Okay. The same ones who used to say, how dare you compare Dak Prescott to Carson Wentz or Jared Goff or to Russell Wilson? How dare you? Okay. You say so. But here's the great thing about being an American. You are free to believe in what you want to believe in, at least as far as I can tell. I don't know if that's changed in the last hour. And I am free to have my freedom of speech and say what I believe, especially when it's on my channel, which means you have the freedom to watch it or not. Isn't that a great thing? And here's what's even greater. We are less than 500 people away from 50,000. Wow. Less than 500. I can't believe that. I remember. Wow. I remember in 2016, after the Senior Bowl, because I watched it, because the Cowboys coaching staff was the coaching staff. And everybody was talking about, Carson Wentz, and the Cowboys might try and get Carson Wentz. So I watched it. Yeah, I wasn't impressed by Carson Wentz, but I was impressed with Dak Prescott. And I said, who's this guy from Mississippi State? And started looking at the film on him. And understand that Mississippi State was not like a football factory, but they in the toughest conference in college football that puts like 50 plus players a year in the NFL. And I'm sitting there thinking, with this guy who didn't have anybody around him, that this guy was actually getting Mississippi State ranked #1 for a couple of weeks. And I was like, this is the perfect guy for the Cowboys. And I did a video about just that right after the Senior Bowl and said, Dak Prescott is the perfect quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Boom. And you know what? Nobody watched it. I had about 150 subscribers then. But when Tony Romo got hurt and Dak Prescott was made the starter, that video all of a sudden took off. Because they're like, wait a minute. This guy said he's the perfect quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys at the Senior Bowl. And people actually started watching. And by my birthday, October 10th, I hit my first 1,000 subscribers. And I think now I'm only less than 500 away from 50,000. It's been an incredible ride. Oh my Lord. Well, anyway, I'm so happy to be home. Tomorrow night there's football. Saturday there's a triple header. There's football on Sunday. There's football on Monday. Oh my goodness. Yes. We gonna have fun. Y'all gonna get sick of me. We got the Cowboys at 1 o'clock on Sunday. And then we have the Commanders left hand up against the New York stinking Giants for the Sunday night football game. It's gonna be a long day. Still got to figure out what we're putting on this Jacksonville sub. If you have some suggestions, let me know. In the meantime, I am going to go to bed. Whew. We're supposed to get some bad weather, some freezing rain and sleet tonight into tomorrow morning, and then a whole lot of rain. So I better take these cushions in. All right, good people. You know how I roll. Remember to tell the people you love them. You might not get the chance again, and I love you guys. God willing, I'll see you tomorrow. Turn out the lights. This party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it the night. This party's over. And tomorrow and the next day starts the same old thing. Good night, everybody.